TFA fam. It's week 1. We're here, baby.
Let's go.
Got Matty.
I'm so pumped for 7 hours of commercial-free football.
I know. It's so great. We had some good college games last night too. Got Matty making his Sunday morning debut here on the Start Sit show. So let's just jump into it, man. We have a couple of questions. First, I do want to really quickly go over some of the injuries. Obviously, the one that I'm sure we're going to get a ton of questions on is the Mark Andrews injury. Devon A-Chain looked like he was going to be good to go. He was kind of a little bit of a surprise inactive. He's not expected to go. Jerry Jeudy, we kind of figured he would not be going. Kendrick Miller is out, so now it looks like it's going to be Jamal Williams' 20-plus touch season today. Zach Moss was looking like he was trending toward playing, but he is now doubtful. Christian Watson has obviously been rolled out. Romeo Doubs isn't necessarily questionable. I just threw him on here because it seems like he might be on a little bit of a pitch count today with his hamstring injury. Devontae Parker's kind of up in the air, but trending toward not playing. Zach Ertz was on questionable, but Matty just gave me the heads up that it looks like he is going to play. But you're still talking about a 33-year-old tight end coming off an ACL injury, going to be catching passes from Josh fucking Dobbs. So not sure how interested anyone in redraft should be with Zach Ertz. And then some active or expected players. We got Kittle, Waller, Marquise Brown, Adam Thielen is good to go. Breece Hall should be good to go, but it looks like he might be on a pitch count as well to start off. I think Dalvin Cook probably gets the majority of the carries for week 1, maybe even week 2, before Breece Hall is fully unleashed. And then Ramondre Stevenson was dealing with an illness, but looks like he should be good to go. So kick it off with Noelle. She was in here a little bit early. We need 2 out of this group: Mingo, Burks, Juju, and Jaden Reed in a half PPR.
I kind of like Mingo and Reed.
Yeah, with that was one I forgot to put on there. DJ Chark is out. Burks, I'm actually taking the under on his receptions at 3.5. Juju, that is one of the weather spots that we should be paying attention to. I guess more or less for the Philly side. But in terms of all the games that are like in yellow, according to Roto Grinders, it seems like the Philly New England game could get into some heavy rain. So I'm not very excited to start anybody on the Patriots, much less Juju, especially if we're going to get a ton of rain. So I'm with you there. And I think Jaden Reed makes a ton of sense with Watson being out and Dobbs being banged up. So I like that call. Another one here from Noel. We have Ramondre, Pierce, Deontay, Godwin, or Dotson. We need 1 in a half PPR.
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. So there's actually been some solid line movement on the Bucks leading into kickoff. Like that spread is closing, and it's one of the higher total games of the week. And we saw Godwin, caught 4 passes for 30 yards and a touchdown from Baker in preseason. And I think normally I'd say Dotson here, but they have some rain as well in Washington. Man, I don't know. I kind of like Godwin.
Yeah, I like Godwin too. Dotson was obviously much more attractive whenever we thought Terry McLaurin could potentially be missing this game. Now he's been removed off the injury report entirely, so not as exciting. I don't expect Washington to one, have to open it up in this game, or 2, they just come out swinging right away. So I think Deontay is interesting going up against San Fran. I think people kind of overrate their pass defense anyway. They weren't all that good last year, but Ramondre, what might be a sloppy game. I think Pierce is interesting as well, but in a half PPR, I'm going to rock with you here. I'm going to go Godwin. I need to take one of his, need to take an over for him as well. I think his receiving totals are like 55 or 56.5.
Yeah,
going up against
they're going to have to throw, right? Because the Vikings are going to score. The Vikings always play well at home, and it's 1:00 Kirk Cousins. So, I actually like the Bucks. I think nobody's on them because of Baker, but like, what if Baker just comes out and ends up being better than what we all anticipate?
Yeah, what if he's okay and not a complete sack of shit?
Right.
And like you said, it's 1:00 Kirk Cousins at home as well.
Yep.
So you're just firing him up in those situations. Our first Isaiah Likely question. Here we go. Pick out of this tight end group. We got Likely, Everett, Juwan, or Musgrave in a full PPR.
I'm actually really high on Gerald Everett. overall and this week specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the things that people aren't necessarily realizing with Isaiah Likely, like I think he's fine. I think he's a fine play, if you don't have anyone else available. But he was also competing with targets with Demarcus Robinson and like fucking Willie Snead last
Yep.
year. Now it's a little bit of a different situation. We Lamar, I don't think got any preseason reps. Talking about a new offense, and now a stacked wide receiver room, relatively speaking. So I think Likely is fine play. I'm not completely off him by any means, but
I didn't mean to cut you off, but also the Houston defense I think is going to be better than people realize with D'Amico Ryans and Will Anderson. They spent a first round pick on, and they brought in a couple pieces here and there, like in the secondary. I know Jimmy Ward's probably out, but I mean, I think that Houston defense is not going to be as rollover as it has been the last couple of years. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Likely is not the slam dunk that people might think he is.
Yeah, it's still, he's a fine play if like that's your only waiver option, but it's not. I don't think it's as, like you said, slam dunk as some people are making out to be. I think Musgrave is interesting in this spot with the injuries they're dealing with, but I don't think you have to go there. I also think Chicago's linebackers obviously got a big upgrade this offseason. So I like Juwan in that spot going up against Tennessee, who just absolutely dreadful against the pass last week. But it's hard to pass up on Everett in what should be an absolutely high scoring affair with that game going up against Miami. So I'll rock with you on Everett there. Truth Teller, glad to have you back. AP, what's up? It is that time of the year. It is football season. Good to see some familiar faces, and it's so good every single time. Makes me happy. Jay Rosa, happy football TFA, another year watching you guys. Appreciate you coming back, Jay Rosa. What do you think of Brian Robinson or Khalil Herbert at the flex? Did we Likely this week? We just went over that, so we don't have to jump right back into it. But B-Rob or Khalil Herbert?
I think Chicago's going to end up more of a rotational committee than we anticipate. I think B-Rob is the easy call here. Dude got shot in the leg and was still carrying the ball 20 times a game last year.
Yeah.
And there's also been a conscious effort to involve him more in the pass game on early downs. So yes, Gibson's still going to be the third down guy, but I expect B-Rob to get the goal line carries and also see probably, 3 to 5 targets a game. I mean, he caught, he had four catches in his last preseason game, which was only a couple series. So I think B-Rob's being slighted in the outlook for him this year. So I like B-Rob, and the Arizona defense is just going to be the worst defense possibly we've ever seen. So I expect Washington to score. There is a little bit of rain. I just expect Washington to play in front, and I would be shocked if B-Rob doesn't get 20 carries here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, the Green Bay run defense was not great last year either. But like you said, this Arizona defense, you always hear about like, hey, is the Alabama defense better? The Georgia, I truly think the Georgia defense might be better than this Cardinals defense. Like I don't think that's hyperbole. So, and I think Robinson probably has a better chance at scoring as well. So, I'm with you there. Here's the question from Truth Teller: who'd you start on defense today? Pats, Jags. Patriots game going to be thunderstorm, I hear.
It has to be the Jags, right? Because Richardson's making his debut.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jags here. I mean, the Patriots defense, they always put together a solid squad. They always end up being better than what we're expecting them to be. But I'm gonna go Jags here. Just because I think the scoring could be limited here with, like you said, Anthony Richardson's debut. And I don't expect them to throw a ton on his plate either. So, like, I don't necessarily think there's going to be a ton of opportunity for turnover either. So, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Jags there. TN, good to see you in here, man. And not just because of the super chat. We've been thinking about you, TN. I'm glad to see you coming back. Hope you are fully recovered from I think the last time we heard from you, TN, you were dealing with some COVID. So hope you're all recovered from that. But let's get to the question here from our guy, half PPR in the flex: Breece Hall, Tyler Boyd, Adam Thielen, or Gerald Everett. Let's go get them dubs. Absolutely. think I know where you're going here, Matty. Going Everett.
Yeah, I would say Brees Hall, but just because, like you said, he's going to be on a little bit of a snap count. I think I saw like what 40%, like 40 to 50 range percent of snaps. And I'm typically down a little bit on the guys that are coming back, first year after the big knee injuries. It's usually the second year where the production spikes again. So like the Brees Halls and Javonte Williams, I would expect, those guys to definitely have a solid role, but not, the nuclear 65-75% snap shares with their talent, that can really break things open. So I'll go for this week. I'll go Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Everett for everything you laid out. I mean, Tyler Boyd's ceiling is obviously limited playing with, those other two studs. Adam Thielen, was already dealing with an injury. He was pretty dusty last year, despite running, I think it was like the third most routes in the entire league last year. And, obviously didn't do much with that. And now you're talking about a rookie quarterback in that position as well. So I think we see a lot of Miles Sanders, despite him not getting a ton of reps in the preseason. But Gerald Everett, obviously, especially in terms of overall projected game script, is the one who's in the best spot here. So we're going to go Gerald Everett. I'm going to leave this super chat up for a while, so I'm just going to read off a couple here, Matty. This one from Abraham. Do you think starting Godwin over Devonta Smith is a risky move? Kind of feeling Godwin because of the game script this week. What do you guys think? We already talked about some of the weather, projected potential weather anyway, with that New England Philly game. You talked about liking Godwin. Do you like him enough to start him over Devonta Smith?
Oh man, that's tough. I think it's closer than people would initially consider. Like I said, the line continues to move in favor, like it's shrinking in favor of the Bucs offense. The spread is closing in on a smaller number between the two teams. That's indoors. It's in Minnesota. The Bucs are gonna have to throw. Minnesota's defense is atrocious, especially in the secondary. And then you have the Eagles going to New England, and you have to think if the Eagles are going to have success, it's because of Jalen Hurts running the ball against a man coverage defense, and not necessarily him lighting it up through the air. And if he does light it up through the air, in man coverage is probably AJ Brown. So as crazy as it sounds, yeah, I'll side with Godwin this week.
AP, I think it's one of those cases where you can look at who you're playing, and if you need the upside, I don't mind swinging for Devonta Smith. Kind of hope that he gets his points in before. And I was trying to see if there was anything updated with the weather. We don't have anything yet from the Roto Grinder site. But I think Godwin is the safe play, and he could have a similar ceiling to Devonta Smith, especially if this game goes as sideways as it potentially could. Porter looks like, I don't know, wrote $120,000 league. I don't think that's the case. Is it 120 Porter? I don't feel comfortable. If you're in $120,000 league, I don't feel comfortable answering this question. But I have Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, TJ Hawkinson, Rachaad White. Looks like maybe the Bucks. Oh, no, never mind. Rachaad White, Bryce Young, Seahawks defense, Evan McPherson in a 2 QB league. Noah Fant, Mac Jones, Cole Kmet, Mecole Hardman, Curtis Samuel, DK Metcalf. Is there a okay, there's a question. Zay Flowers or Christian Kirk at the flex?
Kirk.
Yeah, I like Zay Flowers a lot, but I think in this matchup, you take the sure thing. You take Kirk. That Indy secondary is going to be absolutely
really
dreadful.
Yep.
And I'm with you. I think especially the Houston secondary, I think that could be like a sneaky, not obviously we're not going to target them for, DFS or fantasy purposes, but like you said, I don't think they're just going to get rolled over every single week. And obviously their run defense was the issue last year, not necessarily their secondary. So I'm with you. I'm going to go Kirk there as well. Alexis picked up the Cowboys defense off waivers. Their defense is always a starter, correct? No matter what the matchup is.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess unless they're even when they play the Eagles, right? Like there's still opportunities for turnovers, and they just get so much pressure on the quarterback with Parsons and Lawrence, and they've got a decent enough secondary. Like Diggs can get burned, but they're going to get turnovers. So yeah, I think the upside is always there for them. And I told Kev this on the DFS pod every single week last year that they're going to have a kick return or punt return touchdown at some point. It's coming. So last year it never happened, but it will happen.
Yeah. And just to give a heads up to the Twitch folks, we do see your questions. I will get to them. We're just running a little bit behind, so stick with us. We're gonna get to those questions. I know some people think we're only reading the YouTube comments. I see you, Twitch. We'll get to you here in a second. Also, thanks for liking my hair, Alexis. My wife is absolutely gonna make me cut it soon, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go for the Sunday show. So. Just letting the locks out. Truth, I got Michael Thomas in the flex. Do I leave him or go someone on my bench? Robinson, Breece Hall, Swift, or Pickens?
I like B-Rob for all the reasons we stated.
Yeah. I would go Robinson as well. I'm going to go try and catch up on some of these questions. So let's go a little rapid fire here. AP, choose 2 running backs. Najee, JK, Mostert, Sanders.
Mostert, Sanders, and it's not even close.
Okay, so you like Sanders over JK?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, Najee, I'm not. I mean, dude, his rushing totals are like 48.5. And then there was also a report that came out that Jaylen Warren could see more touches on first and second down than what some people
which would be
are
smart
expecting.
Because he's actually good.
Yeah. I think he's gonna mix in a lot more than what people are expecting.
I agree.
Will Hayes, who should I start in my flex spot, half PPR, Sutton or James Cook?
Sutton.
It's going to be Sutton for me as well. Ken MacArthur, London, Najee, or DJ Moore in a PPR?
London.
London for me as well. Alexis, with weather concerns, still starting Jalen Hurts over Dak, right?
Yeah, because Hurts can, even with weather, Hurts can run the ball, 15 times for 125 yards. And get it like he can score twice on the ground too. So yeah, absolutely.
Raylan, and also with Dak, they're already getting some injuries on that offensive line as well. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Raylan, yes. Morning, guys. Need to confirm a flex. Deion Jackson, Javonte, Brandon Cooks, or Dalvin Cook.
I like Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I like Brandon Cooks there as well. I was leaning Javonte, and it's so frustrating. You see one of the reports, it's like, hey, Peyton said that Javonte is going to have a big role week 1. I was like, okay, his rushing total is pretty low. I'm going to throw it over. And I looked on another site, and like literally the rest of it is, hey, I don't know how many snaps he's going to play, and that they're going to be running out Samaje Perine and Jaleel McLaughlin as well.
Yeah, that's the report I saw was Jaleel is going to be in line for what would be for him significant touches. So yeah, I have zero confidence in predicting that Broncos backfield this week. So I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. Brandon Cooks for me as well. Last fish in a pond. Yes. So happy. Me and Kev were talking about this. This is our survivor pool guy over on Twitch. So I picked Washington versus Arizona and Vikings over the Bucks. Are these good picks? I think obviously Washington is going to be the absolute most popular pick. And if Arizona wins, a lot of people are going to be fucked in survivor polls this week. You were talking about some of the positive line movement in favor of the Bucks. Do you still like taking the Vikings over the Bucks though, correct?
I think the Vikings win. I just think it's such an easy week to just burn Washington because you're never going to pick them again after this week. And Arizona is just so bad that I really just don't see a world where Washington loses, and they will never be favored by a full touchdown over anybody for the rest of the season. Like that's like the Ravens are favored by 9.5 against Houston. Like that's pretty much how it's a really, really large disparity. Like you rarely see 10-point spreads in the NFL. So a full touchdown favorite for a team that will not be favored by that much. I would just burn Washington and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, even though that's going to be super popular, and if for some reason that goes sideways, that's going to ruin a lot of people. Cameron White, Antonio Gibson, or Breece Hall?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think I would go. I think I would still go Antonio Gibson here. They were getting both those running backs pretty well involved. I just don't know what to expect from Brees in this one. Obviously, they picked up Dalvin Cook for a reason. They still have Michael Carter to take away some, maybe a couple of touches here and there. And then going up against Buffalo, divisional matchup, I just don't see a ton of scoring. And then we also have to remember Dalvin Cook was coming off an injury as well and didn't get a ton of run. I don't know if he had any preseason snaps or touches. So I'm going to go Gibson there and just play it safe.
Yeah, I think I side with you. I guess the only thing that, as I think about Breece Hall, is we know Rodgers loves to dump it off to the running backs. Like, think of all the Aaron Jones. Jones never had a big, rushing share, which I would expect Breece Hall is going to be involved when he's on the field. He's going to get high value touches like catches and things like that. So I don't know. It's definitely close. I think I still side Gibson, but that's a close one.
Yeah. Juan Zaragoza. Which two running backs do I start? Mostert, Stevenson, or James Cook? I'm going to go the first two. I'm assuming you're also going to sit Cook.
Yep.
Christopher, would you start Marvin Mims? Yeah, I would. Let us know who you're potentially thinking about starting him in place of. But that Raiders secondary, they upgraded the defensive line rather, but Chris Jones is going to be, or Chandler Jones rather, is going to be out for this game, so that's going to help. And then we also have to remember the Broncos spent a lot of money on that offensive line. So obviously with Jerry Jeudy being out, that bumps Mims up. He's gotten a bunch of good reviews this offseason. So I'm fine starting him. I'm starting him in a couple of leagues, Christopher. But let us know what options you have, and then we can try and narrow that down for you a little bit more. RD, good to see Ronnie Daniel in here. I messed up, started McKinnon in my flex, full PPR, Keenan Allen or D-Hop. I also started the Sun God. That is going to be Keenan Allen for me pretty comfortably.
Yep, agree.
Can pick one in a PPR and half point per carry. Michael Thomas, Van Jeff, Higbee, Burks, Deion Jackson.
Higbee?
Yeah, I'm going Higbee there. I know, half point per carry is a nice little chunk there, but I'm not convinced that Deion Jackson sees the bulk of the carries. I think that could be, a situation where we see obviously Evan Hall worked in. I think Anthony Richardson is in line for 8 to 12 carries himself as well. So
absolutely.
I was hoping to find an Anthony Richardson rush attempt prop and just take the over no matter what it was. His rushing total, I was a little surprised. I was hoping it was going to be lower. I think it was up to like 48.5. I think I saw on.
That's what.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be shocked if he ran for anything less than 40.
Yeah. 48.5. I was like, man, I wish it was a little bit lower so I could take the over, and that's why I was hoping to find a rush attempt prop, but they haven't put that out yet. Joe Burrow or Tua Tagovailoa for Porter?
Burrow. God, I don't know. That's so close.
We're not going to be any help here, Porter, because I'm going to go Tua.
I really don't think you can go wrong. It's two of the highest total games of the week, and they're both really good quarterbacks with great weapons. So,
yeah, I did take the under on Burrow's passing total. I will say that it was at like 2. It pissed me off. I saw it on DK. It was 265.5. I was like, yep, I'm taking it. And I went over to FanDuel where I play, and that was at 260. I still took the under, but obviously don't feel as good about it with that 5-yard difference. But he's struggled a little bit against Cleveland. Yep. They really beefed up their defensive line. They obviously have a talented secondary, divisional matchup. So I took the under on his passing total, and I just love the spot that 2 is in.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of the same take on the two defenses playing in that Chargers-Dolphins game. I think both defenses are going to be better than we're thinking, especially with new schemes and coaches. Like Vic Fangio is over from Denver, now in Miami, and Herbert's usually struggled against the Denver defense, and so I just personally think that Chargers game is going to be a little lower scoring than we think. I still really like Everett and Mostert from that game, but I don't think it's going to be, fireworks personally.
Let's see where we at here. Truth. My other team, I got Akers in over White from Tampa. Is that a good move? I got Mike Evans in the flex. Starting wide receivers are Keenan and Olave. So would you go Akers or Rashad White?
White.
Yeah, I'm going White there as well.
I think Kyron Williams is going to be more involved than we're anticipating.
Yes, let's go. I agree. Especially if they get behind, Cam Akers, even though in college he's more than capable of doing it. Just one of those things where they haven't really asked him to be the pass catcher. And Kyron Williams has been getting a lot of positive buzz by doing that. And obviously, whenever he was at Notre Dame, he caught a lot of passes, and that was something I really liked him for. So I'm with you there. Got Stevenson, Herbert in my RB1 and RB2 spot. Breece Hall, Swift, Brian Robinson on the bench. Do I need to change anything? I would start Robinson over Herbert.
I agree.
Yeah, glad to, man. TN spent Christmas and New Year's isolated from everyone with COVID. Glad to see you back, TN. You're never isolated, buddy. Jump in the Discord. We're more than happy to give you some company. Gabe, Ridley or DJ Moore for my flex? I'm going Ridley. I don't care that he hasn't played in 2 years. That secondary is going to be absolutely brutal, especially with Juju Brents banged up. I don't even know if he's necessarily going to be playing in this game. Even if he does, give me 28-year-old Calvin Ridley who has missed 2 years. I don't give a shit.
Dude, he's looked phenomenal in the preseason.
Yeah.
In camp. So, yeah, it's Ridley, and it's not close.
Yep. Vito, we need 2 here in a PPR. Burks, Van Jeff, Rashad Bateman, or Tank Dell. First Tank Dell sighting of the year.
Let's go. Let's go Van Jeff and Bateman.
Yeah, that's where I lean as well. With Mechie being out for Houston, that obviously opens things up a little bit for Tank Dell, but I just have no idea what to expect from that.
They're playing
passing
Baltimore.
Offense. Playing Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey is out. I did see, so that that obviously helps. But I don't know. I want to see that Houston offense first before I start anybody from it. Andrea, need 1 in the flex here. Rashad White, Zach Charbonnet, Addison, Flowers, and a half PPR.
Addison. With Charbonnet a close second.
Okay, so you would play Charbonnet over Rashad White?
Oh, okay. Actually, sorry. I saw Z next to the right of the White, and I was for some reason was thinking Zamir. Okay, let's redo that. I would play Rashad White first, then Addison, then Charbonnet, then Flowers.
Okay. I do like, dude, his rushing. I don't know if this is everywhere, but his rushing total on Thrive, if anyone plays on Thrive Fantasy, his rushing total was 26.5 yards. Smash.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking that.
Yeah, because Walker's he's got a groin issue. And I know he's playing, he's healthy, quote unquote, but I mean, Charbonnet is his comp that everybody is comping him to is Chris Carson, who took the job from Rashad Penny and all that. So,
yeah, I think Pete Carroll's going to love Zach Charbonnet. One of my hot takes for the season was that Charbonnet outscores Kenneth Walker.
I'm right there with you. I agree.
Let's go.
I just don't know that it's week 1, but
Higgins, Cooper, Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Deontay Johnson. I'll throw this one up. Make it a little bit easier. We need to pick 4 out of this group for Alexis. Higgins, Cooper, Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, and Ayuk.
Higgins, Cooper, Allen, Godwin.
Yeah, I'm with you. Quentin, we are doing well, my man. Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here. Love the little Photoshop action in there. 1 KC dot. Let's go. Good to see KC in here. Should I start flex? Should I start Christian Kirk or Jamal Williams? That is going to be Christian Kirk for me.
Kirk as well here.
I know everyone's excited about Jamal Williams getting 20-plus touches, but that Tennessee run defense was almost elite last year, and I don't think too much changes. I think the way you're going to attack them is through the air. So Christian Kirk, again, going up against that Colts secondary, can't say it enough. That's the spot that I want. Here we go. Hurts or Fields?
Hurts.
Hurts for me as well. Another one here from Twitch. This one from Arctic. Waller or Njoku?
Njoku. The hamstring does worry me.
Yeah, it worries me as well. Deshaun Watson, the way he played, also worries me at the end of the last. Like I think he rebounds. I do. I think I would go Waller here, but if the hamstring makes you nervous, Arctic, I have no problem with going Njoku. I just think that they wouldn't throw Waller out there with how potentially important he could be to that team. You know, they are. I know they brought in 38 wide receivers, but they're basically all the same. Like none of them does anything different. They're not going to be rolling out, going trips with all their slot receivers. So I would still go Waller, but if it makes you nervous, I have no problem going with Njoku. It's not like you're going from Waller to Foster Moreau or somebody like that. So
yeah. Also, put me down in the bucket of I think the Bengals secondary is going to be abysmal this year. It's a completely new secondary
for
Cincinnati.
For Cincy, okay,
yeah, which is, and I know it's sometimes linebackers that are on tight ends, but I think Watson and Njoku and Cooper and even Elijah Moore do well this week.
I do have Elijah Moore over his. I think it was like 34.5 for his receiving total. Mike Hilton, I think, was top 5 in terms of passing yards given up from the slot, and that's obviously where we're expecting him to operate from. Big Country, Zay Flowers or Terry?
Terry.
It makes me a little nervous with the turf toe. I know he's removed from the injury report. I just feel like that's something that could pop up, could limit him, or if they jump ahead, like you said, they're 7-point favorites. They jump ahead, maybe they pull him out. But I would still go Terry here over Zay. I just kind of want to see how that offense operates first. Like I said, Lamar Jackson didn't get any preseason reps, so maybe they come out a little bit rusty at first. And now that I think I just talked myself into taking the Texans on the spread.
I don't hate it. I'm playing Texans defense in DFS because they're min price, so I'm playing them.
Let's go. Mitty Jordan, full PPR, choose a wide receiver and a flex. Elijah Moore, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Van Jeff, Dobbs, P. Ryan, Burks. So we need 2 here, wide receiver and a flex.
Moore and Jigba.
Yep, I'm with you. Van Jefferson has had plenty of opportunities to be the guy, or at least when Cooper went down, or at least be a solid 2, and he hasn't really shown the ability to do that. So I'm with you. I'm going to go Eli and JSN. Tisky, Kirk or OBJ PPR league. That is going to be Christian Kirk for both of us. Sick nasty. We need 1 here. Gibson, Dobbs, or Javonte.
God.
The 3-man rotation worries me with Javonte, so I'm going to go Gibson.
Yeah, on this one I'm going Gibson too.
Washington or the San Fran defense. We're going to go Washington.
Washington.
There. Taco Cat, Deontay, or Drake London?
Deontay. And also Taco Cat is spelled the same forward as it is backwards. It's Taco Cat. It's like,
great call.
It's like race car.
Mom, Dad. Yeah, I'm with you. I like Deontay here. I think he's being overlooked. I think Carolina, we want to talk about some sneaky defenses. I think Carolina could be a good defense this year. Andrew EU, good to see Andrew in here. Michael Thomas, Pittman, Pickens, or Zay Flowers? We need 1.
Man, this one's tough. Well, where do you side?
For me, it's between Pittman and Pickens. Like, I think Michael Thomas is interesting going up against that dreadful secondary. We've kind of talked about Zay Flowers a little bit. I like him for the rest of the season. I think he's going to end up being the wide receiver 1 for them, especially once one of Bateman or OBJ gets injured. We already had OBJ on the injury report. I'm going to go Pickens.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it. The San Francisco secondary is not, it's not phenomenal. And Pickens Pickens and Pittman are essentially the same player, right? You need him to catch a longer touchdown.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a ton of passing volume in Indy. It's there because of how much Richardson's going to run. So I side with Pickens just because you're relying on Indy to be efficient for Pittman to hit his ceiling. So let's go Pickens.
Yeah, I think later in the year that'll end up being Pittman over Pickens for me. But for this first game, I'm gonna side with Pickens. Robert Ruiz, full PPR in the flex. Dalvin, Elijah Moore, or Addison?
These are actually good questions. I'm proud.
It's between the receivers for me.
Yeah,
we talked about especially in a full PPR. I'm just not that interested in Dalvin Cook. Going to be splitting time with Breece Hall. Not a fantastic matchup. I'm gonna go Addison just because I trust the quarterback play a little bit more.
I'm good with that. I don't think you can go wrong with Moore or Addison. We'll slightly into Addison.
Anime. Here we go. Week 1 hitting hard.
Whew.
Akers or Rashad Penny?
Akers.
Yeah, it's going to be Akers. I know we took the other side. We took White over Akers, I think, a little bit earlier. But who knows what that run? You want to talk about a situation where we have no idea what the split's going to be like? I have no idea what to
supposedly Gainwell's going to start. Who knows? I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
Starting doesn't mean anything these days, It could mean carry the first carry, and then it's Swift, and then Penny, and they still have like Trey Sermon, and they just have so many guys that are going to touch the ball. Boston Scott,
yeah, and then not even mentioning Jalen Hurts getting his carries. So good to see you as well. Anime Killer Quicks over on Twitch. Gibson or Walker today, full PPR. This is closer than it should be.
It is. The fact that Walker's playing and not sitting, I'll side with Walker.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't feel great about it.
Yeah.
But I am going to go Walker, even if he gets 10 carries against that defense. Like the Rams defense is going to be really bad.
Really bad. I agree.
Really bad.
It's Donald and then nobody.
Yeah. Dotson or JSN in the flex. I'm going to go Dotson on that.
I like Dotson as well.
Zaragoza, rate my team in a 10-man league. Hurts, Stevenson, Mostert, Chase, Adams, Olave, and Njoku, Tyler Bass, and the Saints defense.
I like it a lot. If Adams is able to have a connection with Jimmy G, then that's a phenomenal team.
Yeah, and the Saints defense was one of my main targets. If you're going late round, which you should be, waiting until the last round to take your defense, the Saints have a dream schedule.
I do like Olave too a lot this year.
Yeah, me too. Gabe Davis stacked with Josh Allen or Jordan Addison in the PPR.
I guess Sauce is going to be on Diggs, right? You would think.
Chip, this is one where if you're looking at your matchup and against your opponent for this week and you need upside, I don't mind going Gabe Davis, but I think Jordan Addison is the safer option here.
I agree.
I think he's kind of Gabe Davis is being pushed down, but he played a lot of that year banged up, and all it takes is one broken play for Gabe Davis to get behind that defense, and he could pay off. So if you need the upside, go Gabe Davis. If you just need some steady points, I would go Jordan Addison.
Agree.
Zay Flowers or Darnell Mooney for Porter. This is a situation where I'm going Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, yep.
AP, I was more leaning JK over Mostert because I have Waddle starting for the Dolphins already. I'm not sure of stacking two players. What do you think? This is the one where we had to pick from for those running backs that we took Mostert over JK. Like, do you mind playing Waddle and Mostert together?
I don't mind, no, because the Dolphins are essentially a three-man offense, right? It's Tyreek, Waddle, and then whoever's playing running back. So generally you're going to get 80% of the production through those three guys. So no, and Mostert doesn't have anybody behind him. A-Chain's already ruled out. It's Ahmed is I think their RB2. And Jeff Wilson's already out, and we know Mike McDaniel loves Mostert, and we saw Mostert do really well in his limited time of having the lead dog role last year. So yeah, I like Mostert.
True Surf, we skipped this. I don't remember seeing this one, so I must have skipped over it. Should I drop New England defense for Luke Musgrave? I'm going to go with Jags defense this week, and Joku's my starting tight end. I would definitely drop the second defense, and I don't think you need to grab a second tight end. I like Luke Musgrave. I would be looking to pick up another running back or a wide receiver personally.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're kind of stacked everywhere and there's not a lot of like intriguing options between running back and wide receiver, I don't mind grabbing Luke Musgrave, but at some point I'm not carrying two tight ends. So if you want to grab Luke Musgrave, kind of see how he does for like a week or two and then drop potentially Njoku, like that's fine. But I don't want to carry two defenses, two kickers, two quarterbacks, or two tight ends. Really at any point. Obviously with if you're two quarterback or a super flex league, that's a little bit different. But in general, just like your regular redraft leagues, I'm not starting any of the onesie. I mean, I'm not carrying two of any of the onesie positions.
I'm the same exact way. So I agree 100%.
Irish Ops. Pick two. Mostert, James Cook, or Dotson?
Mostert, Dotson.
I agree. Jaden Reed or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
I'm going to go DJ Moore there as well. Anime start sit, Debo, Waddle, Pittman, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk. Not sure how many of these we need. Waddle would be first for me.
Kirk would be 2, Debo 3, Gabe Davis 4, Pittman 5, probably.
Yeah. So
I
think you can flip-flop Pittman and Davis, but hopefully
I would think you're not starting.
Yeah,
I would think you're not starting more than 3 of those. So it would be Waddle 1, Kirk 2, Debo 3.
Yeah, I do like Waddle in this matchup against the Steelers. Talked about it a little bit. The Steelers added a lot to that defense, but one thing they did not add a lot of is speed. And I think that could get them in trouble with some of those pop passes, especially with Kittle being banged up. He's expected to play, but I don't know how much we see of Kittle. So I do like Debo in this matchup. Dotson or Mostert in a full PPR?
Mostert.
I'm with you. Big Truz. Good to see Truz in here. Having to rethink my running backs. Sanders, Deion Jackson, Jamal Williams. Wide receivers are Adams, Williams, Kirk, Van Jeff, Cortland Sutton. 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. So Sanders
for sure is the running back. You have to play Adams, right?
Yeah.
As the receiver. And so then a flex. I'll go with Kirk, Christian Kirk, and I'm going to give Cortland Sutton the close second as flex.
Okay.
So it'd be Sanders, Adams, Kirk.
I would go Mike Will over Kirk, but they're like Williams, Kirk, Sutton are like very closely grouped for me. It's Sanders for sure, Adams for sure, and then between Williams and Kirk is how I would go for that flex.
If he does, I'm losing a lot of money because I am not factoring that into anything.
That didn't make your projections.
Oh, wait. That's actually funny. There's just an alert that just came through. Rashad Penny is expected to be a healthy scratch. So there you go.
That means I am, man, I wish I would have fucking taken that over earlier. Kenneth Gainwell's rushing total was at like 19 yards.
He's going to end up being the starting freaking running back.
I think he is. They were talking about putting DeAndre Swift in kind of like a third down pass catcher role. How many targets is he going to see from Jalen Hurts? You know what I mean? Like, I think obviously DeAndre Swift is a more talented running back, but I think there's also a reason why Detroit was just like, all right, fuck you, leave, and we're just going to take Gibbs in the top 15 of the draft. Like,
there has to be a reason.
There's a reason for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson or Jordan Love? I'm going to go Anthony Richardson.
I actually think so. We talked about the spread closing on the Tampa Bay Minnesota game. It's also closing on the Jags Indy game. It was at 4.5 and it got down to 3.5. So and the total's still high. It's 46, which is like third highest of the week. So for whatever reason, there's steam on the Colts, and I agree. It's an unknown, but I mean, we saw Cam Newton in his debut. He absolutely shredded. So and the Jags defense is horrible. Give me Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I think the Bears secondary is sneaky. I think if they're what is he, like a second or third year guy now, if he can get back to how he played as a rookie, I really like that Bears secondary. Obviously, they added to the linebacker group as well, and they picked up Ngakoue too, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Okay, dude, he's one of those guys who bounced. He's on a different
He's
team
been on
like
15
every
teams.
other week. It feels like, yeah. So Anthony Richardson, we saw it last year with Justin Fields. It's not like Anthony Richardson has to go out there and pass for 250 yards. He can pass for $175 and have 2 touchdowns on the ground, and he's going to end up, copping you 20 plus fantasy.
And it's Jacksonville.
Points. Yeah, just always letting you down. Anime. Pittman, Boyd, Odell, Jones. This is a situation where I'm going to go Pittman. Andrea, have a good day as well. Hope everybody gets some dubs. Sick Nasty, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. If you guys have yet to do so, please give us a like and a sub if we are helping you out. We will also be live tonight at halftime for the first look at waivers. So make sure you sub. We're going to try to get that information out to you guys as early as possible. Darius, full PPR, Dobbins or Brian Robinson?
B-Rob.
I'm going to go Robinson as well. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with as many times as we've said Brian Robinson today? We need a defense here for Andrew. Broncos, Seahawks, or the Vikings?
Broncos.
Yeah, I would go Broncos out of that group.
I mean, we know Sean Payton puts bounties out on players, opposing offensive players. So,
is Washington available? I'm assuming not. If this is the group that you're bringing up, I kind of think I'd rather play Cleveland over Denver if Cleveland is available. But if they're not, Broncos out of this group. Addison or Elijah Moore for John. I think we answered this on a different one, maybe, but I'm going to go Addison on this one.
Yeah, I think we said you can't really go wrong with either. They're kind of projected very similar.
Yep. That's right. I just lean Addison because of the quarterback play.
Yep.
It sounds crazy to say. Maybe not crazy. Kirk Cousins gets bashed for no. It's not that crazy. It's not crazy to say you, especially after Watson, how he performed last year, that you prefer Cousins over. I take that back. I take it back.
When Cousins is in prime time or on the road and he's not playing at home at 1 o'clock, it's 2 completely different quarterbacks, but he's at home in the dome at 1 o'clock. So yeah, Cousins is going to light it up.
2 different people. Dems, Mostert, Cook, Dotson. Did we?
Mostert and Dotson.
Yeah, I think we had that same group, but it was from a different.
Yeah, it was. Angle. It's been a popular, kind of similar questions.
Tomas, look at that pup. Rate the team. We have Watson, James Cook, Saquon, Tyreek, Devonta Smith, Dalton Schultz, Mike Williams.
I like that team a lot.
I like it too.
I'm big on James Cook, just not this week against the Jets. But I do like James Cook.
And Thomas, if I would rather play Juwan Johnson over Dalton Schultz. He might be out there on your waivers. I would go Dalton over. I would go Juwan Johnson over Dalton Schultz. But in general, I like that team. I mean, having Saquon, Tyreek, Devonta Smith is really strong. And Mike Williams in the flex is nice. Speaking of Mike Williams or McLaurin, I'm going to go Mike Williams there as well. JJ, hope you are doing well. Deion Jackson or Miles Sanders. We are going Miles Sanders. Killer Quicks, thoughts on Kincaid this year? They need someone to step up in that number 2 spot, right?
He can play big slot.
That's what they drafted him to do. You don't take a tight end like that on an offense like that and have him block. And I don't care if he's not a good pass blocker. We don't get fantasy points for blocking, right? So even if he's not lining up in line a ton, it doesn't matter.
I agree. Yeah, I think he's going to have a good year.
Pierce or Mostert?
Mostert.
Here we go. This is the one that we were talking about before the show, Matty. I can't believe this is the first time we've had this question, actually. Michael, we thought we were going to be getting this one 77 times on today's show, but this is the first. We had one Isaiah Likely question at the beginning of the show, and this is the exact one I thought we would get a ton. But Isaiah Likely, Juwan Johnson.
I'll side with Juwan Johnson.
I'm going Johnson too. Michael, if you missed it at the beginning of the show, Isaiah Likely is a fine play, but I don't think he's a smash. The home run. Me and Matty were talking about it earlier. I don't think he's the home run hit that a lot of people are expecting. Last year, whenever he was getting all the run that he was getting, he was competing for targets with, it was like Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, and like Devin Duvernay.
And he played half the year with Huntley too, which is a backup QB with a backup tight end connection. So,
yeah. So completely different scenario here now with Zay Flowers, Bateman, Odell being healthy. And we're also talking about, Lamar Jackson not getting a ton of preseason reps, new offense. So I'm going to go Juwan Johnson here. That is an absolutely putrid secondary for the Titans, and nothing is changing this year. Mims or Deontay for Ken?
Deontay.
I like Mims a lot, but I'm going to go Deontay. I'm going to go Deontay as well. CHB, I know that probably ruined all of your leagues, because I'm pretty sure CHB just has Rashad Penny and nobody else in his starting lineup. So I guess you're going to have to have to field a different team there, CHB. TFA's own Debro, PPR, J.K. Dobbins, or KW3 in the flex. I'm going Dobbins there.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how much run Walker gets. I mean, obviously, J.K. Dobbins was in a similar boat with not getting a ton of preseason run, but I don't think he's going to be splitting as much time as Kenneth Walker potentially could be.
Yeah, Dobbins is definitely the number one guy. And then Walker is, again, dealing with that groin injury. So, and they have a what, you and I think is a very competent RB2 in Charbonnet who could very likely take over the lead role for them this year. So, yeah, I side with Dobbins.
Springer. Start one in full PPR. Dotson, Robinson, Hodgins, or Nico Collins.
B-Rob. All in on B-Rob this week, baby.
Yeah. I know, like I said, what could possibly
go wrong?
If McLaurin were out, I would have went Dotson here. But I will go Brian Robinson out of this group. I think Nico Collins is definitely a name to keep an eye on. Hodgins I like, but not necessarily in this matchup. So that's going to be B-Rob for me as well. Porter, three-way running back: Cook, Dobbins, Chuba, Hubbard. Not sure what. Yeah, this is going to be Dobbins here easily. I want nothing to do with Chuba. I think you can drop Chuba Hubbard, Porter.
Yeah.
Oh, and we just answered that one without having to answer it. So there you go, Michael. We're going to go B-Rob on that one. What could possibly go? This feels like the Wednesday show that me and Kev did, where like every answer was Sam Laporta. And I was getting a little bit nervous toward the end of the first half. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get so much shit. And then he, didn't have a great game, but he was highly involved. He went 5 for 39 or something like that. But it ended up being okay, especially for a tight end that you either grabbed off of waivers or you drafted in like the 13th or 14th round. Do we need sleeper kickers, Andrew? What are we doing here for sleeper kickers? I'll be completely honest. I haven't thought about kickers at all this year. Just always go with the kicker and a good offense with a high total. If you need someone, Sanders is interesting, but I felt like I did a ton of like streaming shows last year where I was always talking about Jason Sanders. The issue is they go for it on fourth down a lot.
Yeah.
They just do not kick a ton of field goals. So, and who's Lutz with now?
Denver,
maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go Lutz there.
Yeah.
But between those two, just like I said, Sanders you would think would be in a great spot, but they just do not elect to kick a ton of field goals. So I will go Lutz, Irvin Sanchez, Madison. Is this our first Madison question of the day?
It is.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Madison or Walker? I'm going to go Madison.
Yep.
All right. Looks like we are all caught up on the questions. If you guys have any other questions that we didn't get to, any other questions you want to ask going forward, you can join our Discord. That is absolutely free. You can also drop your questions here in the on any one of our YouTube channels as well. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Okay, I have left still Sanders, Mayer, Hopkins, and Folk. I would stick with stick with Lutz there, Andrew. So TN,
good to see you, buddy.
Yes, you're the man. Like I said, we'll be going live again at halftime of the Sunday night game to look at waivers. We'll have rankings dropping early in the week. Any questions, join the Discord. Link is in the description below, or you can drop a comment on any of our other videos on the channel, and we'll try to get to as many. Let's start this week off good. Let's get some dubs. Let's hit some GPPs. Let's win some props, win some bets. It's week 1, baby. Football is here. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.